Welcome to Amberg Acres. So as advertised, we are going to try and install this wireless backup camera today on the camper, on the new camper. And this here brand is the Rohent, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Rohent wireless rear view backup camera. So if you know campers, most campers basically have the same products installed in them. And what I'm talking about is like the water heater. If you have an RV, you probably have a Suburban water heater in your camper. Same with the heaters, the furnaces, and that type of stuff. They're all the same brand. They must buy just boatloads of them, and then they just install them in every camper, regardless of the brand. You're probably going to have that type of product in it. So I believe it's the same with the cameras, because every RV we looked at was set up for the Furion system, and Furion is F-U-R-I-O-N, I believe. Nope, it's got two R's. F-U-R-R-I-O-N. But anyhow, so I went and looked up this Furion camera system. So here's a clip of it from Amazon's site. So I believe it was $585. That seemed a little pricey to me, so I did some research and watched a couple videos, and this is what I came up with, was the Rohent system. And according to the description, and here's a little clip of this one from Amazon. I want to say it was around 140 bucks. So you saved yourself $400 some by going with this system. And according to the description, it has a backup plate that adapts to the Furion mount up here, and then it has an adapter cable that adapts to the power wire coming out of the Furion mount. And according to the videos that I watched, this should work. Okay, so that's what we're going to try today. We're going to try setting this up and getting it working, and then we're going to mount it up here and test it out. So the first thing we have to do is we have to go over by the truck, and they have us wiring the two together and syncing them up before you actually install it onto the unit. And that's just to make sure everything is working before you waste your time mounting it up there. So we're going to go over to the truck and we're going to get this set up. Okay, so in the box you have the suction cup to mount your viewing monitor. You have the camera itself. Then you have a bag full of stuff here. This, I believe, is the cable, the adapter cable. This is the mounting bracket that's supposed to adapt to that Furion system up there. And then they give you a bunch of extra wires here and a cigarette adapter that you're supposed to hook this all together first and test it out and sync the cameras before you have mounted on the unit here. So let's get started here. Let's get the antennas attached and get this hooked up, and then I'll plug it into the truck and we'll see if it works. Okay, so if I did everything right, I'll plug these two together. Camera should come on, and there should be a picture there. And I'm not getting it. It's saying no signal. All right, let me try and figure this out. Okay, so I got it to work. So what they give you here, they give you a bunch of cords here that you put together with this little connector. So red to positive, black to negative, as always. All right. Then you hook one up to the camera, and you hook one up to the viewing screen. Now what they're kind of vague on, if you don't watch the video, they're kind of vague in the instructions that you have to go in here and you have to go into the menu, and then you have to select and go pairing. And then once you hit pairing, so now it'll pair the camera with the monitor. Okay, so now you have all kinds of other settings here. You have playback for recording. You have a record button. You have view mode, which is shows you all the different cameras. So I have it on the one down here, which makes it a full screen. Okay, so you select, you just keep selecting over with the arrow button until you get to the one you want. Now these other ones are for, so now it gives me one full screen. So these other ones, what these other ones are for is, I got a little bit of sun going on here. What these other ones are for is if you have the side cameras for the passing cars trying to pass you on the side. There's another setup that you can get with side cameras, and that's what those other screens are for. Then it'll show you all the screens. Okay, so if we go back to menu one more time, then you go scroll over and you have a settings page there, and in the settings you can change your scan time, your English, your date, and I forget what the other one was there. Your cameras, how many cameras you have on. So I have it on camera 1, and so that'll give me basically what you're seeing here, and so basically it works. There it is. You can see my face, my ugly face in the camera there. It seems to be working. I seem to be losing my signal here a little bit. Now I don't know if that's just the way I have the cameras set up here, but we're going to get it hooked up to the camper, and then we're going to see, hopefully it holds a steady signal then once we have it hooked up to the camper. So see, now it came back on. So I'm losing my signal here for some reason. Not really sure why that is, but I'll let you know at the end here if it's not working or if it is working. All right. All right, so I finally got this bracket together. The plate they send you does not fit in the grooves it's very close, but you would have to sit there and grind away at this bracket. So I felt, looking at it, once I would have it together, I would have these open slots, and that would let moisture in. So I just decided to drill 2 holes or 3 holes in the back of the Furrion bracket and mount it that way. Seemed like the easiest solution to me than trying to sit there and grind down this bracket. All right, so obviously it's off by a little bit. It doesn't fit right in there. I would have to take it out, belt sander, and sand down the edges to try and make it fit a little better. So seeing I'm a one-armed man today, this seemed like the easiest thing to do. The hardest part was getting this grommet through both plates. And I got it through, but with one arm it was kind of tough. So other than that, I believe I have it all ready to go. This plugs into the Furrion, or no, this plugs into this one. And then this plugs into the Furrion setup up on the trailer. So let's go over there and see if we can put that back together. Okay, so we really struggled with that. I had to get the boss out here to put the screws in for me. There's too much cord. It's too hard to hold, push the cord in and get the piece back on there and then put the screws in all at the same time with one hand. I just couldn't do it at all. And she struggled with 2 arms, so not the easiest thing to put in up there. I mean, it's not hard, it's just, you know what I mean. So our next step now is to go in the truck and see if we can turn it on and see if we get a picture out of that thing. Okay, so let's see if we can hit the go button here and see what happens. So it's flashing no signal again. That's the same problem I was having before. Let's take a look at it here. Oops, sorry. No, I'm having issues. As always. Got the date set. Okay, I'm hoping you can see that. Probably not, huh? Yeah. Alright, so it took me a minute to figure this out. Even though I have power in here to this camera, I have no power back there to the camera itself, or this is the receiver. I have no power to the camera itself unless I have the lights on, which I don't know why it's hooked up that way. That should be, you would think that would be 12 volt power all the time to that outlet back there, to that Furrion setup. And my thoughts are, is because you're not always driving with your lights on. If I have this vehicle on auto and it's a nice bright sunny day, it does not have my lights on. So you're not going to be able to use it to see what's behind you, you know, if there's cars coming up your rear or whatever. So maybe you should be driving with your lights on all the time with a camper like that. I don't know the actual rules. You know, all we have to do is turn the lights on before we back into a campsite, and it'll work just fine. So we'll leave it like that for right now. It's got nothing to do with the camera setup here. It's got to do with the way the vehicle and the camper are wired. So that's it. It works fine. So you can see it there. I have the ladder about 10 feet behind the camper. So if there's anything back there, and you can see my deck there off to the corner of the picture, if there's anything back there, I would see it, because that deck is 20 feet away, you know, from where I'm parked. So if there was a tree or whatever, you would easily see it. So I think this will work just fine. So like I said, it saved me $400 from buying the Furrion. It was a little hard to hook up back there with the wires with only having one arm, so I had to get the boss out to help me do it. But other than that, it worked just fine. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 5, for a difficulty scale, I would put this at a 2. It was actually very simple to do. Some of my issues were, one, only having one arm and being way up there. It just doesn't work. So I had to get the boss out here to help. She struggled getting them wires in there because it's such a tight little fit in there. But once you got it in there, it's all mounted properly now. And then the other problem was I didn't realize I had to have the lights on to get power back here to the camera. So once I figured that out, it works just fine. So, you know, if you're looking for a backup camera, it's $140. It's very easy to install. I did not really have that much difficulty with it. But again, the bracket they send you really didn't fit that well. You have to sand it down a little bit, so I used their bracket and just drilled my own holes. You got to be creative with some of this stuff, you know. It's you know where it's coming from, so you got to be creative with some of it. And other than that, it was a pretty easy project. So if you like these videos, you know, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next one.